Azurite Sea's official release date is next week, and with that, we've now had the entire set revealed. So let's go over the last few cards we have not discussed yet and close this spoiler season out for good. Before we get into it though, I want to remind everyone to please like this video and subscribe to The Sorcerer's Hat for more Disney Lorcana content. I post brand new videos every single Friday. Alrighty, let's go. First up, we've got Treasure Mountain. This is an uninkable 5-cost steel location card with a move cost of 2, 9 willpower, and it has 2 passive lore. It also has 1 ability, Secret Weapon. At the start of your turn, deal damage to chosen character or location equal to the number of characters here. This is a pretty interesting location. I think one of its downsides though is that you have to do damage to something, which means if you are the only person with characters on the board and you have characters at this location, you're going to do damage to one of your characters. Like, you can't not, so that's not that great. But that being said, I don't know if this will ever see a ton of play since it's kind of expensive. It doesn't work well with Jim Hawkins' Space Traveler, and it's uninkable. But on the other side, it does have 2 passive lore and 9 health, so it's not terrible. I like aspects of this card, but some other things about it give me pause, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the we'll see category. In draft, I think this will be fairly decent just because you can drop this down and probably just get some lore before your opponent takes it out, because 9 willpower is going to be really hard to get rid of in draft. Next, we've got Alice, Savvy Sailor. She's an uninkable 3-cost Sapphire character card with 1 strength, 4 willpower, and she quests for 2. She has Ward and 1 ability, Ahoy! Whenever this character quests, another chosen character of yours gets +1 lore and gains Ward until the start of your next turn. I kind of like this card. Giving another character Ward and an additional lore is really, really nice. And Alice having Ward herself is also really great, so it's going to be a little harder for your opponent to take her out. Her stats leave something to be desired, but you can probably keep her alive with a bodyguard or one of those new sort of reverse bodyguard cards that we've talked about in previous spoiler videos. This will be a really good card in draft, and I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up in some constructed lists at some point, just because giving another character Ward is really, really good. So, pretty cool card. Alright, next we've got Sisu, Uniting Dragon. She's an uninkable 4-cost Amethyst character card with 3 strength, 3 willpower. She quests for 2. She has 1 ability, Trust Builds Trust. Whenever this character quests, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a dragon character card, put it into your hand and repeat this effect. Otherwise, put it on either the top or bottom of your deck. I feel like this will be a really cool card in a few years when you can make some kind of dragon tribal deck, but as it stands, this card just isn't very good. But you know, the more dragons are released in Amethyst and other colors, the better this gets, and maybe one day there will be a good dragons deck, but I don't think that time is right now by any means. That being said, it's not terrible. Its uninkability is a little strange considering it's not that great, at least at the moment, and would probably only go in one hyper-specific deck, but in draft, I might take it just for the 2 lore, but I'm kind of lukewarm on this card, but I could see a world in a few years where this becomes a really solid support card in a Dragons deck somewhere. Next up, we've got Good Job. This is an inkable 1-cost Amber action card that reads, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. Really interesting piece for aggro decks. Giving a character +1 lore is always really strong. Is it good on an action instead of a song? Maybe, but that does mean that Ursula won't snipe it out of your hand. In draft, I think this is a pretty awesome card, and I think some aggro lists will probably run this just to really capitalize on trying to get as much lore as possible in their turn, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. Next, we've got Mullins Seasoned Shipmate. It is an inkable 5-cost steel character card with 6 strength, 4 willpower, and he quests for 1. He has 1 ability, Fall in Line. While you have a character named Mr. Smee in play, this character gains Resist 1. I could see this being fairly... wrong thing. This isn't bad in Pirates. It has okay stats for being a 5-drop, but I don't know if you'll really be playing this outside of a Pirates deck, to be honest. And even then, it's not the most amazing card in the world, but grab it in draft just because it has pretty good stats. Okay, next we've got Safe and Sound. This is an uninkable 2-cost Amber action card that reads, chosen character of yours can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. I could see this being fairly good in some scenarios, but I don't know if it's worth using your uninkable slots on this card specifically. Even in draft, I might not run more than one of these. So I'm not convinced by this card, to be honest, even though the effect is pretty nice. But maybe I'm wrong about this. Next up, we've got Abu Bold Helmsman. He's an uninkable 5-cost ruby character card with 4 strength, 4 willpower, and he quests for 2. He's a French vanilla, so he has Rush. Once again, pretty good draft card. There are way better cards you could probably be playing in Constructed that do this exact thing, or just do it better, like Maui. Maui's just better than this and costs like the same. So yeah, good draft card, but probably will not see any play in Constructed. Next, we've got Markowski Space Trooper. He is an inkable 4-cost ruby character card with 3 strength, 2 willpower. He quests for 2, and he is also a French vanilla as he has Evasive. This is not bad. I actually kind of like it. Evasive is always nice, and this could be really good in draft, and it might see some fringe Constructed play, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that it won't see a ton. But I don't think it's bad by any means. Next, we've got Iago, Reappearing Parrot. He's an inkable 4-cost Amethyst character card with 4 strength, 2 willpower. He quests for 1. He has 1 ability, Guess Who. When this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. We've seen cards like this before. An example that comes to mind is Gale Wind Spirit, which I believe was in Ursula's Return. These cards tend to be really, really good in draft since it's hard to remove them totally. This one is not as good though because it only quests for 1, so it's not a ton. But I would still take this in draft, even though it's not as good as something like Gale. But I also just kind of doubt this will see any Constructed play really because it only has 2 health, so it's just going to probably get blasted and then it won't matter, right? Next up, we've got Magic Carpet, Amazing Flyer. He's an inkable 3-cost Amethyst character card with 1 strength, 3 willpower. He quests for 3, and he has no abilities, so he's a vanilla. Questing for 3 is a lot and always pretty good. I don't know where this goes other than maybe an aggro deck, but even then a 3-cost in an aggro deck is kind of expensive. But, play this in draft for the 3 lore. It's probably about it, honestly. Next up, we've got Genie Excited Shipbuilder. He's an inkable 3-cost Amethyst character card with 4 strength, 3 willpower. He quests for 1. He is also a vanilla. This is basically a worse Madame M. Fox without Rush. So this is basically just here to be the shift target for the larger legendary genie that we're getting in this set. This might see play in a deck that does use that, but there are a lot of other genie targets you could probably also use, so I don't really think this will see a ton of play. Okay, next up is Prince Naveen, Vigilant First Mate. He's an inkable 5-cost Amber character card with 2 strength, 6 willpower, and he quests for 2. He can shift for 3, and he has Bodyguard. This card isn't bad, but I also don't love it. You're shifting just to get a Bodyguard with okay stats, which isn't the most enticing thing in the world, so I mean, play it in draft, but I doubt this sees really any Constructed play at all. Next, we've got King's Sensor Core. This is an inkable 3-cost steel item card with 2 abilities. Its first ability, Symbol of Royalty. Your prince and king characters gain resist 1, and its second ability, Royal Search. Exert this card and pay 2 ink. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a prince or king character card, you may put that card into your hand. Otherwise, put it on the top of your deck. This is really interesting because we have a lot of stuff centered around queens and princesses, and even princes to a degree, but nothing so far that I can draw out of the top of my head that is based around like kings. So this opens up some other tribal options we really haven't seen much in the game before. So I like it for that reason, but I don't necessarily think we're ready for this item to be competitively viable yet. Maybe in the future, this could be pretty dope, but right now, it's kind of cool, all in all. It'll maybe spurn some creativity at some point. Next up, we've got Calhoun, Marine Sergeant. She's an uninkable 2-cost steel character card with 3 strength, 2 willpower, and she quests for 1. She has resist 1 and 1 ability, level up. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. This is a good card. The resist means that it's going to be a lot harder to just blast this, and the stats are not bad for a 2-drop. So yeah, this is like a really good card. I like it a lot. Okay, next we've got Hercules Unwavering Demigod. He is an inkable 4-cost steel character card with 2 strength, 4 willpower. He quests for 2, and he has Challenger 2. This isn't bad. It has pretty good stats and quests for 2. I could see this going into the Emerald Steel Hercules Meg deck that's been going around for a few sets now, and if you haven't seen that deck, look it up. It's wild, and yes, it totally works. This is also a good draft card, so yeah, I like it overall. It's pretty good for a common. Next, we've got Kahoot, sure, Trusted Marine. He's an inkable 2-cost steel character card with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and he quests for 1, and he is a vanilla card. Nothing much to say about this. Feels like your standard steel vanilla card. Next up, we've got Perilous Maze Watery Labyrinth. This is an inkable 3-cost emerald location card with 1 strength, 8 willpower, and it has 1 passive lore, and it has 1 ability, Lost in the Waves. Whenever a character is challenged while here, each opponent chooses and discards a card. I kind of like this one, but I think you're really only going to proc the ability in a reckless type deck that's using bodyguards or cards that will make your opponent target something specific. Otherwise, your opponent's probably just going to attack the location itself, but even with that downside, I don't think this is all that bad. Alright, next up we've got Daisy Duck, Pirate Captain. This is one of the cards that was actually revealed at D23, but it was slightly obscured. But we'll talk about it now. So this is an inkable 4-cost emerald character card with 3 strength, 3 willpower, and she quests for 2. She has 1 ability, Distant Shores. Whenever one of your pirate characters quests while at a location, draw a card. Like I said in a previous video about the Shipwright Goofy card, Pirates in green feels a bit off, but if you can pull this off, I guess this is okay. My gut says that this won't even really see play in a Pirates deck, let alone the meta, just because of the color choice, so it's a little bit of a bummer. Next up is Mosquito Bite. This is an inkable 1-cost emerald action card that reads, put 1 damage counter on chosen character. This is like horrible and okay at the same time, weirdly. I think this will be really nice in a ping deck as just a random inkable card or a way to get quick damage on something to take advantage of an ability. So it's probably only really good in that one deck, and everywhere else, not so much. Next up is a card that caused a pretty good amount of conversation around it. This is Lilo, Escape Artist. She is an inkable 2-cost amber character card with 1 strength, 2 willpower. She quests for 2. She has 1 ability, No Place I'd Rather Be. At the start of your turn, if this card is in your discard, you may play her and she enters play exerted. This is a different kind of recursion that we've normally seen and is actually kind of a good buff to aggro decks. This card will be insane in draft and probably really, really good in aggro decks in constructed. So yeah, pretty cool card. Next, we've got Madam Mim, Tiny Adversary. She is an inkable 2-cost amethyst character card with 0 strength, 3 willpower. She quests for 1. She has Challenger 1 and 1 ability, Zim Zabarim Bim. Your other characters gain Challenger 1. I could see this having some utility in like Blurple or Emerald Amethyst, but her stats are not very good. We'll have to see with this one. I don't hate it, but I do wonder how effective this will really be in the long run, so not sure about it. And finally, we have Donald Duck, First Mate. He's an inkable 3-cost emerald character card with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and he quests for 1. He has 1 ability, Captain on deck. While you have a captain character in play, this character gets +2 lore. This synergizes really well with the Daisy Pirate Captain we talked about previously, and obviously any other captain that you can think of, but I have the same concerns about this card that I did about that one. There aren't that many pirates in green, so is it going to be worth it to try and put that together? I don't really know, but if you can pull off the captain combo here, which doesn't require it to really be a pirate, it just has to be a captain, Donald questing for 3 is pretty great. So in summation, I don't hate it, but I'm just concerned about its ink color and whether it will keep it from seeing a lot of play, and my gut says it probably will. So with that, we've officially seen the entirety of set 6. How are you feeling about it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe to the Sorcerer's Hat for more Lorcana videos. I post a new one every single Friday. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye. Love you.